Can our past chairs please step forward to light the lamp with her? Ms. Kamini, Ms. Hina Srivastav, Ms. Rekha Lauti, Ms. Rekha Reddy, and Ms. Monica. Thank you so much. I request you, Sonali and Priyanka, to please come on stage. You survived what you thought would kill you. Now straighten your crown and move forward like the queen you are. Welcome. Requesting our past chair, Ms. Hina Srivastav, to please come on stage and felicitate our guest speaker with the Kalash. Ms. Sarika from the events team, please help her.
Very, very much for this. Welcome to Flora.
Thank you so much, Hina. I now hand over to our chairperson, Ms. Priyanka Ganeriwal, to introduce the guest speaker and take the session forward. Thank you.
She stood in the storm. When wind did not blow her way, she adjusted her sails. These words describe our speaker for the day, Ms. Sonali Bendre, perfectly. Good afternoon to our speaker, Sonali Bendre, our special invitees, past chairpersons, FLO members, friends, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to all of you to this very special session today. As I come to the final month of my year, I have decided and dedicated this month to women power, the power of infinite possibilities, the conviction of these women to think and deal with extraordinary situations and emerge as winners and inspirations. My year would not have been complete without saluting and sharing the stories of these warriors. I hope these stories help us, inspire us, motivate us to look at our inner strengths and switch on the sunshine. Today we have Sonali Bendre with us. It will be followed by a famous nutrition, Ms. Rujukta Devakar, on Monday, the 15th of April. Then we have a session with Ms. Asha Devi, Nirbhaya's mother, Ms. Lakshmi Narayan Tripathi, LGBTQQ activists, and Lakshmi Agarwal, the acid attack survivor, on 21st. This will be followed by a change of guard on 25th April, with the guest of honor being the lady who has lived life on her own terms, the renowned actress Tabu. I hope to see all of you in all these events. Please do block your dates. Another important information is, according to the government rule, tomorrow is a paid holiday. Please make sure that your workplace is following this rule, and it is our duty to vote. So we request everybody to definitely go and vote. Today is really special, as we have the lovely Sonali Bendre here with us. Many of you know that the author Siddharth Mukherjee, he wrote a magnum opus on cancer, and he called it the Emperor of Melodies. And justly so, because millions across the world are today suffering with this disease. We have about 1.1 million cases that are diagnosed in India. And it is really an emperor of catastrophe, and it is those who share the story that make one realize that it does not need to be that. Siddharth Mukherjee wrote about the process. His own father had cancer, and he wrote about this invisible process in the body that keeps the body functioning. We don't even realize whether the heart is pumping blood, The lung is pumping oxygen, and we are completely unaware of this process until a certain blind spot comes in and the link breaks down. And there are these cascading effects of disaster, so as he speaks, in every aspect of life that you're blind to. Sonali Bendre, who's been a beautiful model, actress, TV reality show star, author, mother, and she's now got a new title, a cancer survivor. She knows this and she's been through this process of breakdown, the cascading effect it has, and the life beyond it. We are glad that she's made time and a conscious decision to come here today and talk about her journey. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Sonali Bendre. Thank you, Sonali. Thank you, Sonali, once again for being here today. I know you're keeping your travel to a minimum, but thank you for making this an exception.
No, it's my pleasure. Good afternoon, everybody. It is my pleasure to be here.
Before we start, I know it's a difficult journey. It's a lot of pain. You are the one of the very few who decided to talk about it. What was it that made you talk about this? What was your first reaction when you discovered that unfortunately this disease had happened to you?
Well, I felt like it was not happening to me. I think most of us feel that when something you don't expect happens, you wake up in the morning thinking that it was a bad dream and it will go away, and then you realize, no, it's not going away, it is the reality. So for the longest time, I would actually pinch myself and see, is it a dream? Am I awake? Am I sleeping? Maybe this is just a dream and it's all going to go away. Till you understand that this is not going away and this is the reality. So yeah, definitely that was the first reaction. It was definitely shock. How can this happen to me? And then hoping that it's a dream and it'll go away. I did think I should be an ostrich and bury my head, but...
You talk about the idea of a threshold. In an iconic way, you say cancer helped you discover the sense of adventure again. What did you mean by that?
Well, first of all, it made me fearless, because what could I fear more than this? More than, not having a tomorrow. What can be more fearful than that? I mean, that's what we are always thinking of tomorrow. We are always thinking, I will do this later, or when I do this, then I will do that. Everything is based on tomorrow and what is to come and the future. Or the other thing is that, this is what happened and that's why I did this. So we all talk about it, that living in the present, but we never really practice that. And it just brought the reality to me that it's not easy to live in the present, but that is the reality. That's all that I have at this point of time. I can plan for the future, wish for it, and do a lot of things, but it's actually not in my control. And so yeah, that somewhere that fearlessness did come in, that when you stop fearing about what is going to happen, how will it be, you start living and your sense of adventure becomes better again. Also, it just made me feel like a teenager again, I must say, because that's the time I remember when I was totally fearless.
Absolutely. So when you talk about fearlessness, threshold of fear, a lot of it is also about a body image that we have in mind.
Yes,
it is
of course.
also about a certain set. So how was that to deal with it?
Well, I always thought I was very comfortable with my body. I was very comfortable with the lines and me growing older. And I thought that I would be one of those people who's going to embrace it gracefully. And, I'm not going to do this, and I will be very graceful about it. And I'm okay. It's part of living. It's experience, etc., etc. But when I was faced with it, the fact that my hair was gone, I had a scar, my body is not going to be what it is, it all, like, the reality came crashing down on my head, literally. And I realized that it's really not so easy to age gracefully, so to say. It did bother me a lot that I was my body image that I have was not going to be what it was going to be, that I would have the scar, I'm not going to have my hair, I had no eyebrows, I had barely any eyelashes left. So definitely it took a beating, and it took a while to understand that this is the new reality. And then when you sit down and you say, okay, so what did I mean by saying that I would age gracefully? I mean, forget the fact that by the time you actually get there, right now you can't deal with this, so how were you going to deal with that? So let's start right now by practicing what you thought you were going to do. This is my dialogue to myself, of course. I've really been talking to myself a lot. And so that was one of the things which I just said that this is it, I need to accept it. I remember when I was coming back, I spoke to Priya and Anaita at Vogue, and I said, you know what? I want to do the pictures, also because I'm so scared of facing what I look like now, that just for that reason I want to step out and do exactly what I'm fearful of. And that courage I got from the fact that when I went bald and I put that picture out in social media, I said, what is it that I want to hide from? And so I put the picture out there, it was there for the world to see. I said, here it is, this is me, the bald me. And you know what, it was liberating. It gave me, I actually really enjoyed not having that much of hair. It, literally 2 minutes you're ready. It was fabulous in that sense. So I could find peace in that. And I said, if I could do that, then let me go and accept the scar and whatever the reality of the body, which is not so toned anymore, because there's no way I can work out like that. Aching, creaking, joints are paining, etc., etc. And yes, the water retention is there. It's not so chiseled face anymore, and all those things. I said, you know what? Thank you. But I said, so this is the fear, right? So I said, Anaita, I want to do the most glamorous shoot in this situation. And can you help me tell this story that I think I'm beautiful and I don't need the regular trappings to be beautiful, but I don't know how to say it. I want to wear the most glamorous clothes, which probably I would not have worn such glamorous clothes on a normal level. I said, but I want all those glamorous clothes and I want to be out there. I mean, it's literally like telling, we're all grown-ups here, right? Yeah. So it's literally like telling beauty, and so to say the thing, showing the middle finger and saying that, you know what, I can be beautiful anyway. I'm not going to depend on certain things. So Anaita really got what I was saying. And, so till today, I think the best picture was that, the so-called it piece, the hot piece of the season, the Prada hairband. And, she put that hairband on my bald head, and I could have wept, because it was such a beautiful way of saying that this is the piece that everybody wants to wear this season. And I'm not being the season and the brand sort of a person, but it really made me feel, yeah, why not? This is what it is. And I was like, Anaita, thank you. This is what it says. I don't need to have the hair to wear the it piece and make it look good. I can enjoy it when it's not there. So it boils down to one thing, and that is how you look at it and how do you feel about it. And that's what I learned from this.
Perfect. For somebody whose first advertisement was parachute hair oil, do this.
I got my first film because of that ad, in fact.
Because of the ad?
Yes, absolutely.
And
my
do you
career
enjoy
was
your
based
new
on that.
haircut? Do you enjoy your new haircut?
So, yeah, it's just growing out now. I just hope it's not as straight as it was before. I'm really hoping
No, I
for
think
that.
we'll all vote for this, that she looks lovely.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
You spoke about social media.
Yeah.
Your hashtags, which is one day at a time, and bring on the sunshine. Switch on the sunshine, sorry.
Switch on the sunshine, yes.
They were something that was something new, especially for some celebrity to come forward and say, I am suffering this. And it's a kind of an affirmation. What made you do something like this?
Like I told you just a little while back, I really didn't know it was an affirmation. But that's what I realize now, that by saying hashtag one day at a time, hashtag switch on the sunshine, using it like a mantra, that's exactly what it was. I was affirming the fact that I will take one day at a time and no more grays. I mean, switch it on, switch on the sunshine, look for the beauty, look for the good, and look for life. That's what sun gives you, you know. And so yeah, I always feel that there is, everything can be used in a certain way. And when I got onto social media, it was more of a, you know, there were so many fake accounts, and my team was like, you know, we really need you to be out there so that there's that blue tick and people know where to go, because otherwise there's a lot of misinformation. I'm like, you know, I'm not the social media kind, I'm very private, I don't really want to keep putting things out, etc., etc. So eventually we came to a point where we did make the account and we started it. And it was about, you know, I'm doing this and wearing that. And I said, but you know, and the response you would get, the direct connect that you get with your fans. And I said, my God, it's such a powerful medium, and it is so amazing. And I just thought that I could use it in a different way. And I said, what is it that I can do with this? And I said, let me combine two things. That was my love of reading, and the fact that I was out of the habit, because reading takes a certain amount of discipline, and I was out of that discipline once I had my child and I was not reading as much. I said, you know what, why not form a book club and take it from there? I mean, the moment you have a book club and you've got a book, you have to discuss it, you have to read it. So I had seen what social media does, which was that book club was a thing that saw me through this time also. And I felt that using the social media as to form a book club and to have a good conversation really helped. And you know, so it is, again, like I said, positives and negatives. And I thought social media could be used very positively also. And that was something what I followed through here. And, you know, if you speak to one person, then it's always, I mean, we all know how it gets. The moment you speak to one journalist, somebody else gets upset, and then somebody else gets, some other group gets, oh, you didn't tell us, and then everybody has their own way of interpreting it. Doesn't mean that they want to not tell the truth, but everybody looks at it from their vision. And social media was something where it was unfiltered, it was me telling the people. There was no way you could kind of misunderstand what was being said. And that's the reason why I wanted to tell my story myself. I wanted to put it out and tell them why and what was happening. I was doing a show called India's Best Dramebaz, and I had suddenly disappeared. They had got on another person. And I didn't want gossip around it, you know, that you're getting along, not getting along, what is happening. I said, you know, there's just too much to deal with. I don't want some negativity of, you know, some gossip and stuff like that going on. Plus, we all know, we all have kids. They are too tech savvy. And my son was on a summer camp, and I said, you know, he's going to hear of it from somewhere. I don't want him to hear something wrong before he comes to me. And even later, my parents, or be it my mother-in-law, you know, the WhatsApp groups and everything, there's so many stories that float around and so many rumors that float around. I said, you know what, I don't want anybody to hear it in a wrong way. I want them to hear it in the right way. I want the tone to be mine. And because I was going to be away in New York, and I was not going to be coming to them and talking to them face to face beyond a point, this was my way of communicating my version of it.
But don't you think there's a lot of silence around the C word, the cancer word? People don't like talking about it.
So when I put that out, the kind of response I got was, to say shocking is a mild word. I got response from every strata of society. I got from every age group. I had old people, young people, you know, like literally like teenagers also writing in saying, and I realized that this is pretty common, and it's there in nearly every family. And I was like, but if it is so common, why did we never talk about it? Why did I feel like somebody gets cancer, not me, nothing around me? And I realized my family had it too, and nobody speaks about it. And when I heard all the stories, the next thing was just to thank people, because it just made me feel that I was not alone. And believe me, it gave me a lot of strength to know that, you know, something so unique, it's not unique what has happened to me. A lot of people go through it. In fact, you know what, I'm lucky that I can go and get the best treatment possible. And there are a lot of people who probably know it even later than I have known and might not have access to it. So suddenly I could see that rather than, you know, feeling, oh my God, this has happened to me, I need to see, oh my God, this happens so often, and I need to be thankful that I could actually come here and get the treatment. So I just wanted to thank people for reaching out and sharing their stories. And from there began a dialogue, and it just continued, and I started sharing a couple of things. And I just did not want to, definitely I wanted to be positive about it, but I did not want to lie and give a picture that everything was only hunky-dory and everything was only sunshine. No, it is not. And I wanted to be truthful about it, because the kind of outpouring I had got, I felt that I owed it to the people who had reached out to me and shared their stories to tell the truth and not kind of hide reality. So, and like you said, I don't know why it is hidden, and I don't know why people don't talk about it. Because what happened to me was that when I spoke about it, I got so much love from everybody, which, believe me, had I hidden, I wouldn't have got so much love, and I wouldn't have known how loved I was. My family, my friends, and all over the country, there was just an outpouring, and everybody reached out. And imagine, had I not shared it, I would have never known that, there is so much love out there. So I'm very glad I reached out and I told my story, and I feel that everybody should reach out and tell their stories.
I have an 8-year-old son, and it was actually surprising for me that you shared this story with your son, like you
Yes,
mentioned, and you also made him a part of your treatments.
Yes.
So he accompanied you to when you went for chemotherapy and stuff like that. What were your thought processes? Because normally mothers say they want to protect them. They don't want them to see such a reality on your face.
Yeah.
Why did you do it, and do you really think it helped?
Well, it was an instant.